LeBron James. Now, we all know that LeBron has spoken about wanting to play in the NBA with his oldest son, Bronny, LeBron Jr., who's a senior in high school. So that's only a couple more years. LeBron obviously still has game left. That seems like a foregone conclusion. I think, Rob, now, look, we got to see if Bronny's good enough. All right? But to be a one and done, to be a one and done player. But beyond that, I think the only thing that would stop at least LeBron on his part is if he just keeps getting injured. Like, he can still clearly play at a very high level, but he's been injured, 3 of the last 4 years, and that's the concern. Is he going to be able to stay healthy? If he just keeps getting hurt, maybe he'll hang it up. But here's the big news, though. He sat down and spoke with Sports Illustrated and told them that not only does he want to play with Bronny, but he wants to play with Bronny's younger brother, Bryce, in the NBA. And that would be, Rob G, the 2027 draft? 2026 draft. Okay, so that's only, 4 more years. That is why, I never thought about him playing with his youngest son. And the youngest son, many think, could end up being better than Bronny. I'll say this, Rob. And, look, I think LeBron, from all appearances, is a terrific father. I don't necessarily I don't mind it being out there that, hey, I'd love to play with my sons one day. But I do feel like it puts a ton of pressure on them. Like you mentioned, Bronny is not one of the top ranked players in his class. He's top 30 or 40, something like that. But not like top 5, where he's a definite one and done case. And if they don't make it, it could, make them feel like failures. So I think you got to be careful with that. But I hope it works out and he can play with these guys. But I'll say this, Rob, and I think Jordan is the GOAT, and I think it's clear. And I think he'll be the GOAT when LeBron is done playing. Look, Jordan will. But if he plays with both sons and is still playing at a high level over the next 4 or 5 years, whatever it would be, and this is the kicker, wins, he's got to win like 3 more championships, which I don't think he's going to win anymore. But him playing this long, him winning 6 or 7 championships, that would be a strong argument for him being the GOAT. I think we always, and I think rightfully so, we take peak over longevity, right? Nobody really thinks Emmitt Smith's the best running back ever, even though he has the most yards because of longevity. Hank Aaron, as great as he is, Rob, very few would say he's the best player ever, right? Even most wouldn't even say the best home run hitter ever.
And Hank Aaron, just for people, played 24 years, Chris, and averaged 100 RBIs.
Right.
Think about that.
Oh, no, his longevity was incredible. Years. Absolutely. But if both guys have had a legitimate career, and Jordan obviously did, playing 15 years, I don't think the longevity is that big of an issue. His peak was clearly higher than LeBron's. But if LeBron can play, I don't know what it would be. My gosh, 26 years or what? 20? He's entering his 20s. So 25 years at a high level and have at least as many championships, if not more, that's when the case really could shift his way. Now, I don't think it'll happen. Like I said, I don't think they'll win another championship. But if that were to happen, I think that'd be a strong argument.
I don't think so. I don't think what his kids do in a positive or negative way has any bearing. It's still about winning, and I think you did say that, right?
Right.
The winning has to. The kids don't really play into it. He has to win. So his kids.
Yeah, I'm more saying the length. Right. You know what I mean? Not that he played for his kid with his kids too. I'm saying if he would have played 25 years, You know what I mean? That's crazy.
But here's where my issue comes in. If I'm a Lakers fan or the Lakers organization, I know they just signed him to a 2-year extension.
Right.
I wish he would be focused on something else. I get it, even if they ask you and your kids, you talked about the added pressure to their kids about making it to the NBA, which is not a guarantee. And not only one son, now you're talking about 2 sons, and there's a lot that goes into it. But if I'm the Lakers, I don't want to be a sideshow and let you be our personal, you're using the Lakers as a vehicle so that you can, it's not about winning. It's just so that you could pacify yourself and make you feel good about you and your kids. And that's fine. But that's not where I would want your focus to be in even putting it out. That would bother me that's where his focus is. He averaged 30 points a game last year, but they didn't win 2 games in a row for forever. For 3 months. That stuff should be inside, Chris, and maybe you mentioned it once, but to keep banging this drum about hanging on as long as you can so that you could play with your sons and all that. It just doesn't sound like a guy who's really, what I say, should be more focused in on trying to win as much as you can. If you get to that point, Chris, 2 years from now, and your kid's there, that's great. I can understand that conversation. Hey, Bronny went to college. He had a great freshman year. Wow, that's exciting. You know what I mean? And now maybe there's a chance of it. But putting it in the atmosphere to try to sell it to some owner of some bad franchise who's well, I'll take LeBron. I know he's played 24 years now or 23 years and he's not the same player and he doesn't impact winning, but I'll sell tickets and then we'll draft Bronny. That's what it sounds like to me. It just sounds totally premature, totally prefabricated, totally pipe dream, reality kind of thing, more so than something that eventually could happen, Chris. And if it does, that's different. You just said it. Bronny's like the 30th or 40th best player in the country. That's not even.
I don't think it's a pipe dream. Now, I'm with you in that I wouldn't be beating that drum.
That's what he's doing now.
Yeah.
He did it at the All-Star. You remember at the All-Star game? He even said, I would come back to Cleveland. And the people in L.A. were like, dude, what are you talking about? Right. They didn't like it. And you remember his agent had to take it back. You remember that?
Well, and say that he wants to play with the Lakers.
Right.
I hear what you're saying from a Lakers standpoint because, and I wouldn't say his focus is on this more so than winning with the Lakers. I mean, obviously you can think about several things at once, and I think his focus is on trying to win. But I hear what you're saying that, because chances are this wouldn't happen with the Lakers. So you might go elsewhere.
Right.
You're kind of saying you might leave or you will leave.
Because that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, for me, it's more so the kids and the pressure. Like if I was in this situation, sure, I'd love to play with my kids. Had boys and we all made the NBA.
Right.
But I wouldn't put that pressure on them because they might not make it. They might decide at some point they don't want it. I mean, really. So there are all types of things that could happen. And when you put it out there so much, if it doesn't happen, I think it's not going to be a great look for the kids because so much has been put on them getting there. And so I'm more concerned about that angle.
I think you're right. If Bronny doesn't make it, Chris, well, then now what? That's going to be a big deal.
It's got to be tough. I mean, with LeVar Ball. Now, LaMelo and Lonzo made it.
Right.
But the middle kid, LiAngelo, now he was always viewed as the worst of the 3.
Right.
But still, that's got to, you know what I mean? You got to feel a certain way inside that, hey, I didn't make it. My brothers made it, and I'm the one that didn't.
Like the Manning brothers, Chris. Like the older brother, they said was the best player. Right?
Really? The one that didn't make it was supposed to be the best?
That's what they said. That's what they
was that
like
Connor?
as a kid. You know what I mean?
Right,
like he was.
right.
They thought he was going to be. He wound up not making it, and then the other two guys. I mean, can you imagine your dad? You're in a family of 4 boys, Chris. I'm just and 2 of them won 2 Super Bowls, and your dad was a
right.
quasi legend in New Orleans in the day, right? Archie Manning.
That's how low the bar was.
Yeah, well, quasi. That's why I said quasi.
Right. Nah, I hear you. But yeah, I think it'd be great. I hope it happens for LeBron and his kids, but I would just tone it down a little bit if it were me. All right, 877-99 on Fox. Just simple. What are your thoughts about LeBron's plans to play not only with Bronny, but with Bryce in the NBA? And if he can do it, now again, he'd have to keep winning. Would it enhance, in your view, his chances of being the GOAT and surpassing Jordan?
Now LeBron has a daughter too. How many kids does he have?
Yeah, he's got 2 boys and a girl.
Yeah, and he just texted me and said he's going to play in the WNBA with his daughter too. So,
Yay.